So earlier in the week I asked you guys what you wanted to see for the next video. When I asked the fans what they wanted, this is the responses I got from the 12 adoring fans, and it looks like blending is going to be the next episode, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, to start today's video off, I've just grabbed 5 random images, or 5 or 6 random images that I found on Google, and they're just random landscape images. I literally just searched up 4K images, and these are the ones that I found. So I'm going to be trying making a really cool design for this, and sort of show you guys how I would go and attack blending all these images together to make one really cool one. Alrighty guys, so now that we're in Photoshop, we're pretty much going to start off with this as the images. It's sort of going to be our base image that we're going to start with, and then sort of work on top of that. I'm going to quickly duplicate the layer on the side here, just so that, just in case if I want to go back to it after I make some changes, I can just go back to it and don't have to grab the image again. So first thing I'm probably going to do here is just pen tool out this little house and the mountain that it's sort of sitting on, and then we'll just sort of erase it after we pen tool it out. Alright, so there we go. We have now cut this out, and you probably would have noticed how I didn't pen tool super like precisely, I would say, because I went for more of just like a because I wanted to keep the mountain sort of ragged sort of look, so I did it as quickly as I could, made it a little bit like wavy, not just straight blocky sort of lines, went real wavy, and that's turned out pretty well for what I wanted it to look like. So now we're going to get into the other parts of the background, sort of much, and then we'll get that a little bit darker down the bottom here, and now we're going to grab like the galaxy that we have here, and then probably just for the stars, we want them to be pretty much like covering the entire thing, but we don't want the Milky Way here. So if we can just get the parts that don't include the Milky Way, we'll probably put it on our screen. That's not going to work as well as I thought. Alright, so we've started to create something of a sky sort of look. Now we're just gonna go over it a little bit darker, just because I feel like it needs to be a little bit darker at the bottom here. Alright, so first things first, I'm gonna pen tool the sky out no matter what, so we'll get to that real quick. Alright, so we finally pen tooled this dude. That took a while, and as you can see, there's little bits of his hair and small things in between his legs and boots and laces and all that we're going to have to quickly get rid of too, because yeah, that doesn't really look very nice, so we're going to quickly do that as well. Now don't worry, his hair's going to look a lot better, because we're actually going to like redraw the hair strands and everything like that, just to make it look a little bit nicer than this chunky thing. Alright, so we need to start implementing our other images that we grabbed, being these ones. We need to start implementing these a little bit more. Now a cool little tip is if there's like small little pixels on the outside that are like a white sort of color or anything like that, there's a cool technique you guys can use. You just gotta go to layer up the top here, and then go matting, and then defringe, and then put that, I usually go about 200 pixels, and it just sort of removes about 200 pixels, as just said, of the outside, and just makes it look a little bit cleaner. So yeah, usually when it comes to blending, my first go-to thing to make everything become one image is just the eraser. Just lightly going over things with a large erase tool at about 0 hardness. Just sort of like airbrushing around it, not like going too harsh on it, just sort of swishing it around like this. Just slowly getting rid of those harsh sort of edges and all those sorts of things, and just harshly erasing. it still keeps some of the environment around it that you wouldn't even realize that makes it blend in so well. So that's why pen tooling everything isn't always the best, because it just cuts everything out, whereas when you erase it nicely just like this, it just sort of blends everything in nicely. I'm thinking maybe we should get rid of the Milky Way and get like an actual sky and a moon, because the Milky Way, yeah, it just doesn't really make sense. Alright, so we've just put a moon in, as you guys can see, and I think we need to make the sky a bit darker in the background. Alrighty, so I really like that dark look actually. I'm gonna get rid of the Milky Way sort of look. I might start putting some of those stars that I had out. So we'll obviously give this some nice highlights. Okay, the moon needs an inner glow because of this little cutout that I've messed up. I can't find the moon. And it's also, guys, see what I mean? How I didn't erase the mountains perfectly? It's given that little like cloudy sort of shadow going over the moon that you wouldn't get if you pen tooled it. We need to start with the colors first. That's it. Camera raw filter is your #1 friend when it comes to blending everything together, because it just matches colors so well. And already we can see that is already starting to blend way more. And that would probably work a lot better if we just kept this left side here. Like this whole part. Alright, so it's coming together slowly more and more. Everything is too bright at the moment though, that's the only thing. We're going to need to get rid of this little valley, a little smoke going on here. That's a problem. Oh, I just realized we can have the eagle flying over the moon. And then this needs to be like a different color completely. So we'll, to do that, we'll just put a hue and saturation and colorize. Oh, that's already on blue. Nice light blue sort of look. Okay, I think I'm just gonna erase those little white bits because they're not gonna. There's like little cloud bits. Just raise them into the sky. Now for our actual top part, again we're gonna need to do pretty much the same thing. Right, with the house we're gonna have to heavily edit the shadows so that it looks like the moon's pretty much the only light source. So the roof, as we can see here, has completely opposite of what we want. It has the wrong lighting completely, so we're gonna have to change that right now. So I'm thinking maybe the shadows are a little bit harsh at the moment because we literally can't see like any parts of the house. So I'm thinking we lighten them a little bit just so we can actually still see the house but still get that like it's where the lighting is coming from. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to move more on to the highlights of the house. So for this one, I'm going to grab another hue and saturation and I'm going to colorize it yet again. And obviously we're going to get with a, not a dark blue, but just a nice sort of blue, saturate that one up a lot more, and then we're going to bring the lightness up on this one to a point where it's not terribly white, but still nice. Probably, yeah, like that, and then Control I to invert that one and grab a white brush again. One other thing I reckon we could do is brighten the house up and actually give that some more life. So we're going to quickly go through and give that some life, bring it to life pretty much, with some inside lights going off, like some orange maybe. Yeah, I think orange is the color we're going to go with. Probably do some more shadows. I just realized on the bottom of the house from where the moon should be hitting it, the house should also be casting more shadows, like sort of out this way. Maybe just like lighter shadows, nothing too crazy, but we'll get one more exposure down it a little bit more. Oh, I just realized none of them clip now. Control I, and just sort of redraw a light shadow from the house. I'm thinking maybe some mist now, some sort of mist maybe. So I'm actually halfway through recording the lighting on my character. As you can see here, that is now done. My recording's messed up and it got corrupted, so you pretty much will miss out on all of the lighting that I got to do step by step with the character here. So I'll pretty much just go over what I did and how I did it really quickly for you guys. Really sorry about that. Really pissed me off, to be honest, when that happened, but not much I can do about it. So pretty much what I did first off was started on the shadow on the boots here. As you can see, there's no shadow at all, so what I did is I did one really harsh one, and then I also did a drop shadow from the angle here, just using a basic brush, just pretty much drew the shadow out like that. And then we did one really harsh outline just with the boots at about 89% opacity, just really nice and harsh on the outside. And then just one more that was just a little bit, probably about 50 opacity, just a little bit bigger around the outside, just to give it that extra depth sort of look. So we worked on quickly the bottom of the boots, just giving it a little bit more darkness, because that's where it should be darkest, because it's hitting the ground, there's no light touching it. So that should be one of the darkest points. And then next we have the shadows. As you can see here, the shadows are pretty much the most dominant part of this entire body, really, because only the back, his legs and little bits of the side are getting hit by the light. So we quickly just added hue and saturation to get that blue sort of vibe. We just did a blue, and we put colorize on and just turned saturation up a bit just to give it just a little bit more blue look. Then we did our highlights with a hue and saturation again, with the lightness up a lot more, colorize clipped onto him. Just went over all the small details just like that. And then we went again with a brighter one that we actually used a bit of blend if. If you guys don't remember what blend if is, you press option, you press FX down the bottom here, and then you go blending options, and then up here we've got blend if, and then we just played around with the sliders a bit until it sort of matched what we were after. And then we've got just a few more white overlay layers, as we can see here, just getting the light from the other directions. Just a little bit more lighting on the bottom bit here and down here. Then some more lighting in the middle, because there's pretty much going to be no light hitting there. That might be a bit too much actually, so we'll turn that down a bit. And then we just did some small lighting on the boots down the bottom here, and then some yellow lighting from the actual house. And then just some extra hair strands drawn on the top, and then of course the hue and saturation hair strands. So that's pretty much the lighting done for him. And then we also added some lighting on the rocks. Now I can quickly show you guys how I did that. And pretty much blend if is your best friend when trying to do all of these things. So we actually grabbed a hue and saturation layer and we made it orange, but we played around with the blend if sliders, as you can see here. And if you hold Alt on the sliders and then you click it, you can actually split the sliders in half. Now we don't want to do the top layer because we want to leave the layer normally, but we wanted it to blend more with the layer beneath it, being the rocks. So we played around with that, and we pretty much got it so that it didn't touch any of the shadows and only touched the highlights, and I just made it so that the orange was touching the highlighted bits of the rocks. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll quickly show you guys what the finished product looks like right now. So yeah guys, that's what it looks like. I really hope you guys do enjoy this video. I'm going to leave every single one of the images down in the description in a Google Drive. So if you guys do want to try this out, make sure you tweet it at me at Shorty Visuals, and show me guys how you can do it, how well you can do it. But I really hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like and leave a comment on what you guys would like to see in the next video. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.